Friends, welcome to the second topic of India's foreign policy, part 3. In this, on in detail the India's foreign policy in the early phase, India's foreign policy in the first stage, that is 1947 to 1990, and the second stage 1991 till date. Now, as we all know, that India got independence in the year 1947, and we started shaping our foreign policy independently. The directive principles of state policy have laid down the guidelines about how to shape the Indian foreign policy. Article 15, among the directive principles of the state policies, lay down the broad framework for foreign policy. India should give priority to safeguard international peace and security and to resolve international problems and dispute by peaceful means. The objective of our foreign policy should be to maintain friendly relation with other nations and respect international laws. India's foreign policy till now has been developed in this framework. It's very simple, my dear students. Our foreign policy is such where we have to look at our international security, and if any problem arises, we need to sort out those problems through peaceful means. We should not resort to war. Now, what are some of the objectives of India's foreign policy? The first one is, while maintaining friendly relation with neighboring countries, ensure that the defense and the security of India is not affected. Not to compromise about geographical boundaries of the nation. It's very simple. I will say to maintain or to keep national interest. That is the first thing. We should not compromise on the geographical boundaries of the nation. Or if you enter into a relation with somebody, with any nation, you should not compromise. That is the first objective. Second objective is to protect the unity and the integrity of the country. Third, to protect the interest of India's citizen living in other countries or Indian citizens in other countries. This is the responsibility which is fulfilled by Indian embassies. Next, to establish economic and commercial relation with other countries for achieving economic development of India. That is, if we want to bring progress in our economy or in our economic development, we need to have economic and commercial, we have to establish economic and commercial relation with other countries so that, we may achieve economic progress. Now, we will see India's foreign policy in early phase. Now, let us take the example of Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. When he was shaping the foreign policy as a Prime Minister, he opposed colonialism. He opposed colonialism and he took an internationalist position and he gave priority to global peace and security. He emphasized on global peace and security. Now, three things influenced India's foreign policy. First, we made an effort to understand all the international events and the developments independently without any pressure from any power. Peace has always been the central feature of India's foreign policy. We believed in peace. We did not believe in war. The threat from China and Pakistan are also taken into account while shaping the foreign policy. One of the most important features of India's foreign policy at this time was insistence on self-reliance. Now, my dear students, let me tell you, in the beginning, India decided to improve relation with the countries in Asia. India wanted to take cooperation from the Asian countries in order to achieve development and to keep our independence. The concept of regional development later on expanded, that included even Africa. Some of the Asian African countries participated in the military pact led either by America or Soviet Union. Now, what was our stand, my dear students? Our stand was very simple. We wanted cooperation from both the superpowers, America and Soviet Union. So we had a concept of non-alignment or non-aligned movement, where peace and freedom became the fundamental principle of non-aligned policy. In this period, India had to face the conflict with the neighboring countries. The war between India and Pakistan over Kashmir issue, 1947-48 and 1965. In the third war that happened in 1971, Pakistan broke out apart and an independent nation called Bangladesh was created, and the due credit goes to Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Now, in the decade of 1970, there came about a stability in India's foreign policy. India had risen as a powerful region and regional power in South Asia by conducting nuclear tests in 1974. And India has proved her nuclear capability. From 1980, however, some changes began to take place. In order to increase cooperation among the South Asian countries, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, was established, and India initiated a dialogue to improve relations with China. India started interaction with America for cooperation. Now, my dear students, I would like to start with the first stage, that is the stage, the year starting from 1947 to 1990. My dear students, in the first stage, we could see India adopted the policy of non-alignment in context of Cold War. As a result, priority was given in maintaining friendly relation with all nations and to taking the help required for the development from different countries. Due to the policy of non-alignment, India could get aid from both the superpowers, America as well as Soviet Union. There was a lot of stress on improving and strengthening the India's defense. The technology required for this was imported from Soviet Union, France, Germany, and helped India in this matter. In this period, India has to face some challenges. This included the conflict with Pakistan and creation of Bangladesh. And not only with Pakistan, we had a conflict with China. India proved her nuclear capability by conducting nuclear tests in the year 1974. Now, my dear students, I would like to go to the second stage, that is 1991 till date. India's foreign policy became more comprehensive and dynamic in the second stage. In the post-Cold War, the period, the priority was no longer remained to political and military relations. Several other dimensions like economy, trade, education, technology got included in India's foreign policy. After 1991, India reduced the government control over economy and adopted free market policy. Naturally, there was increase in trade with neighboring countries. Our share in the world trade increased. Efforts began to be made to increase the rate of economic growth. In the decade after 1990, our relation with South Asian countries like Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam became stronger. Our trade exchange with Israel, Japan, China, and European countries increased. India began to participate in the organization such as the international regional level more than before. For example, G20, BRICS. Now, what is the full form of BRICS? Simple: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So, I would like to show you the logo of BRICS. Okay, my dear students, our relation with America strengthened, mutual trust grew, and India's status rose in international community. Now, my dear students, India's nuclear policy is an important part of India's foreign policy. You might have studied the meaning of the nuclear energy. Its uses in subjects like history, geography, or chemistry. Having understood the importance of nuclear power, India undertook nuclear energy program immediately after independence. For this, we have established a Department of Atomic Energy and India Atomic Energy Commission. The first chairman for this India Atomic Energy Commission was none other than Dr. Homi Bhabha. And for what purpose did we use this atomic energy? Very simple. We generated electricity. And electricity generation was the main purpose behind the program. It was also aimed in creating military capability. As a consequence of this, India conducted the first nuclear test in 1974. India built nuclear weapons and conducted nuclear tests in 1998. We have also made missiles carrying nuclear weapons, and the Air Force, the Navy enabled for carrying them. Thus, I conclude the lesson. India is now a country which has got nuclear weapon. We have accepted the role of the responsible nuclear power. India has been consistently supporting the effort of disarmament because it is India's position that there should be peace and security in the world. Thank you, students. Thank you for your patient hearing.